This is Boxing Talk 8576 coming at you, man. Um, I have not been on here for a little while. I've been a little busy, but let's get back to it. First of all, I want to talk about the Gary Russell Jr. versus Johnny Gonzalez fight. It was a great performance by Gary Russell Jr. Obviously, Gonzalez had beat Abdul Maris, knocked him out, and then he had went to Japan and beat that one guy. I don't know remember his name, but he had beat him in early rounds. Got rid of him. He knocked out Abdul Maris in the first round, if I'm not mistaken. Gary Russell Jr. was coming off his loss to Lomachenko. Kind of a one-sided loss. So you know, I thought Gary Russell Jr. would win this fight. I but I also thought Johnny Gonzalez would have done better in this fight than he did. Gary Russell Jr. just came out and blew him out, man. I mean, Gary Russell's still doing the same thing he does. I don't like the fact that he sits down on every punch. He's still flat-footed, but he was able to stay in the pocket with Gonzalez. He was able to avoid Gonzalez's big left hook, big hook that he caught Abnormaris with, and Johnny Gonzalez has a decent right hand, so he was able to avoid those punches. I mean, some of the punches he was going back on. You really don't want your fighter to move back on the punch. You either want him to slip or have a hand up or something like that. But yeah, Gary Russell Jr. He got rid of him, man. Knocked him down a couple times. Gary Russell Jr. is an explosive fighter with power. I give him that. It's just that he's just a little flat-footed. You would like to see him move around a little bit more. See, Lomachenko was able to move around Gary Russell Jr. in their fight. Gary Russell Jr. said he had a strength and conditioning coach, and he wasn't that he got tired. He wasn't that fit like he usually be in the past. But I don't know if it was the fitness coach. If he would have won, I don't think he would have blamed it on the, said anything about the fitness coach. Since he lost, the fitness things came up. But at any rate, Gary Russell Jr. is a champion now. The fight I would like to see him in is I would like to see him fight. Man, I would like to see him fight Rigo. Somebody like Rigo, somebody like Nicholas Walters. I think Nicholas Walters will beat him because Walters has that mobile power and he moves well. And Nicholas Walters, he's kind of big for that weight class. But at any rate, Gary Russell Jr. did great, man. I would like to see what he's going to do next. I'd like to see what Johnny Gonzalez is going to do next. I know that Abdul Maris fight rematch is still out there. Abdul Maris still want that rematch to, right his wrong. But this is Boxing Talk 8576. I'm out.